Hey everybody, thanks very much for joining me today. So I'm just finishing up an overnighter. I'm getting ready to head home, but I thought I'd share my thoughts on the tool that I used last night. This is the Silky Big Boy Professional. Now I've actually been using this saw for about 2 months now on my last 3 or 4 trips. You can check them out in my video catalog, and I've really grown to like it a lot. This is the Outback edition. Silky's been making saws for a long time now, mainly for the arborist community. It's been widely adopted by the outdoors community because they're just a really good saw. So Silky made this Outback edition, 3 different sizes. They're slightly different than the regular Silky saws. So let's take a look. I'll tell you what I think about it. Will it replace my Bucksaws? Because I've been using Bucksaws for a long time now. Let's check this out. So here's the Silky Big Boy Professional Outback edition. And the first thing you're going to notice is the handle. Now they've moved away from that rubberized handle on the Outback edition to this composite handle. That's supposed to give you an enhanced grip if the handle is wet from snow or rain, or possibly if you're processing game. So let's talk about the blade. As you can see, there's a coating on this blade that gives it a bit of a stealth appearance. It also makes it less likely to stick in wood, and it actually makes the blade overall a little tougher, a little bit stronger. Now the blade on the Outback is just slightly thicker than the regular Big Boy, and the teeth are set in such a way that it's suitable for cutting wood and bone, so it's good for game processing. Another big bonus for the outdoors community. So here's a quick example of how a Silky saw would have an advantage over a Bucksaw. Now let's assume that this is a dead tree that you need to fall in this direction. This is a live tree that you don't want to damage at all. A Bucksaw is not going to be able to get into that tight spot. It's no problem for the Silky saw. You can get into tight spots. Now one thing you do have to remember, the Silky saw only cuts on the pull stroke. So you definitely don't want to be putting any pressure on the forward stroke, just the pull stroke. Pretty effortless. A Silky saw can also allow you to stay a little more upright in certain situations. This tree here is basically lying on the ground. If I had a Bucksaw, I'd have to be on my hands and knees to cut it. If you're processing a lot of wood, that can get a little hard on your back, a little hard on your knees. The Silky, you're able to keep a little more upright. The blade also has 2 positions, normal, and you can also index it up. These 2 positions are pretty convenient. If I index that up, it locks in place. Makes it just that much easier. Here's a closer look at the 2 positions of the blade. There's the regular position, and you can move it up for a more convenient angle. Both lock in place for safety. It's also quite easy to switch from cutting on the top to performing an undercut. So that's the Silky Big Boy Outback edition. What do I think after a couple months of use? And I've cut a lot of wood with this thing. Well, for starters, it comes in a pretty nice case. I do like that. I also like the power that you can generate with that pull stroke, although it is something you need to get used to. If you generally use a Bucksaw, once you get used to it, it's very comfortable. The teeth are very aggressive. It cuts very well. I like that it can get into tight spots. You can change your positions easily. As I showed, cutting on the top of a log to cutting underneath, undercutting was very simple to do. So I really do like the saw. Is it going to completely replace my Bucksaws? Probably not, but both will find a place into my kit. I recommend you pick one of these up if you're on the fence, because you might be impressed at how well it cuts and how versatile it really is. I got my saw from BOREAL Ventures. I'll leave a link down below where you can check them out. As always, Gary gives my subscribers 10% off their entire order if they use the code WW10 at checkout. Now that 10% doesn't come to me, it just stays in your pocket where it belongs. Thank you very much for watching the video. I do appreciate it. A thumbs up really helps out the channel. Leave a comment down below. Are you a fan of the Silkies? Let's start a discussion down below. Take care, everybody. Bye for now. Trees do fall in the forest, all by themselves.